This could be the biggest hardware upgrade we have seen in 5 years. New supply chain leaks suggest the iPhone 18 Pro Max will completely change what buyers should expect from a flagship device. The biggest surprise is not just raw processing power. It is a complete architectural shift that most buyers are completely overlooking right now. If you're planning to spend your hard-earned money on a new smartphone, this leak changes the entire financial equation. Starting at an expected price of $1,199 for the base tier and climbing up to $1,599 for maximum storage. This device represents a serious financial investment. Making the wrong upgrade decision right now could cost you hundreds of dollars with very little return on your investment. The core question you need to answer is simple. Does this upcoming flagship offer enough real upgrade value to justify that price tag? Or should you hold on to your current device for another year? To understand why this launch is different, we have to look at the processor technology. Apple is preparing to transition to TSMC's next-generation 2-nanometer fabrication process with the A20 Pro chip. This is not a minor year-over-year spec bump. In real-world terms, moving to a 2-nanometer architecture reduces energy consumption by up to 25% while boosting sustained multi-core speeds by nearly 30%. For creators exporting 4K ProRes video files, that means rendering times drop from 4 minutes down to under 3 minutes. For mobile gamers, it means playing demanding graphic-heavy titles at a locked 120 frames per second without your phone burning your fingers. That single architectural leap transforms everyday productivity and thermal efficiency. Competitors like Samsung with their upcoming Galaxy S26 Ultra and Google with their next Tensor chip are pushing their own silicon hard. However, having first access to the 2-nanometer node gives this hardware a massive lead in sustained performance per watt. Most buyers comparing specs are completely missing this one detail that could make or break this purchase. While everyone is focused on processor speed, Apple is completely redesigning the thermal dissipation system inside the chassis. Previous models suffered from aggressive thermal throttling during heavy productivity workloads and direct sunlight usage. The new internal vapor chamber cooling system allows the phone to sustain maximum performance 3 times longer than an iPhone 14 Pro Max. That means your device will not drop screen brightness or stutter when running demanding navigation, creator workflows, or high-end mobile editing suites. Here is where things get very interesting. The display is also undergoing its most radical redesign since the introduction of the dynamic island. Reports indicate Apple is moving critical Face ID components directly under the display panel. This shrinks the visible cutout to a tiny, subtle pinhole camera, giving you an almost entirely uninterrupted viewing canvas. The OLED panel itself is targeting a peak outdoor brightness of 3,000 nits with advanced anti-reflective glass coating. If you spend a lot of time working outdoors, you will never have to squint or search for shade just to read an email or preview a video shot again. The numbers look impressive on paper, but here is what real-world camera testing actually showed, and the results were not what anyone expected. Apple is preparing to introduce a physical variable aperture system to the primary 48-megapixel camera sensor. Most smartphones rely on digital blur and artificial intelligence to separate subject from the background in portrait mode. A mechanical variable aperture allows the physical lens blades to shift between f/1.4 for deep, natural optical background blur in low light, and f/2.8 for razor-sharp edge-to-edge landscape photos. This removes the fake, cut-out look seen in software-driven portrait modes and gives your photos a genuine mirrorless camera look. For professional creators, this hardware upgrade alone could eliminate the need to carry a dedicated secondary camera for quick client shoots. Combine that with native 8K video recording and the ability to capture log footage directly to external solid-state drives, and the creator workflow becomes truly seamless. And this is the part that almost nobody is talking about. Stacked battery cell technology is finally making its way into the Pro Max chassis. By utilizing electric vehicle battery design techniques, the internal cell density increases without making the physical device thicker or heavier. In everyday battery life testing, this translates to over 40 hours of mixed continuous usage on a single charge. For business travelers and power users, that is 2 full days of heavy emailing, media consumption, and hotspot tethering without touching a wall charger. Charging speeds are also expected to see a long overdue bump to 45 watts wired and 25 watts via MagSafe. That cuts your 0 to 50% charging time down to roughly 20 minutes before you head out the door. Spending $1,199 on a premium flagship only makes sense if the device maintains high trade-in value and peak performance over a multi-year life cycle. When you break down that purchase price over a 4-year ownership cycle, you're looking at less than 85 cents per day for your most essential productivity tool. Compared to switching to an alternative like the Samsung Galaxy Ultra, staying within an integrated ecosystem protects your software investments and hardware accessories. Future-proofing is the real financial benefit here. With 12 gigabytes of unified RAM standard across all models, this device is engineered specifically to handle future on-device artificial intelligence models without slowing down. Devices with less memory will struggle to run next-generation local AI features, making them obsolete much faster. So after looking at everything from the performance and the price to the competition, here is who should actually buy this right now, and who should definitely wait. If you're currently using an iPhone 13 Pro Max or an iPhone 14 Pro Max, upgrading to this model is an absolute no-brainer. The combination of the 2nm processor, true full-screen display, variable aperture camera, and 40-hour battery life represents a night-and-day difference in daily usability. You will immediately notice the faster app loading, significantly brighter screen, dramatically better photos, and lighter thermal footprint. For professionals and content creators who rely on their smartphone to earn income, the time saved rendering files and managing media directly justifies the purchase cost. If you're a mobile gamer or power user pushing hardware to its absolute limits, the thermal improvements and high frame rate stability make this the premier choice on the market. However, if you're currently using an iPhone 16 Pro Max or an iPhone 17 Pro Max, your buying decision requires a much more conservative approach. Your current device already handles 95% of modern daily tasks with flawless speed and excellent camera quality. Spending over $1,000 just to gain a smaller screen cutout and a mechanical lens aperture offers a very low return on investment for casual daily usage. Casual users who mainly browse social media, stream videos, and send text messages should skip this release entirely or consider the standard non-Pro models to save $400 up front. You simply will not push the hardware hard enough to experience the benefits of the 2nm architecture or advanced ProRes creator workflows. And if you're tempted by current discounts on older inventory, remember that buying older hardware right before an architectural shift significantly reduces your long-term trade-in value. Investing in a platform transition at the ground level ensures you receive the full 5 to 6 years of maximum performance and software support. Before you make your final buying decision, there is one more major development coming to competing flagship displays that could completely change the market. We break down that full head-to-head comparison next.